Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. Oh, that's a long-winded sentence. um, Stamping A to Z is my weekly live. It's been a couple weeks since I've been live. Oh, I was away. Sorry. Out of practice, obviously. I'm back now. There was a bunch of new products released at the beginning of July. In the online exclusives. So not a new catalog yet. That will be released, I think, in September. I'm excited to see it's dropping soon for demonstrators to see. So if you're ever wanting those sneak peeks and pre-orders and things ahead of time, you can always join. If you don't have a demonstrator, you can join my team. If you already have your own demonstrator that you work with, join their team if you want all those perks and a discount when you order. Yeah, so today I'm going to use one of the new products that was released for July. It is the Sunflower 3D embossing folder. Previously, I have done many embossing folder technique videos, so you can always go back and watch those. Some of them are similar to this. A reminder, this embossing folder is so beautiful, and it's a standalone embossing folder. It's not with a suite or anything else, but you can make such beautiful cards. I'm going to, so a bit different today. Normally I do 3 cards. I am going to make, well, technically 8, but I say 7. 7 different ways of using the embossing folder, other than the obvious way. And so I'm just going to show you how to do those. So you'll just see the completed kind of rectangles of them. And then next week I am away again, but I'm going to post the finished cards. I'm not sure if it'll be in a video or how I'm going to do that at this point yet, or what I have time for. But yeah, I just thought it's a way of kind of not extending, because I know to do the 7 will take this whole live, and then obviously it's fun to see some ideas for finishing them into cards or whatever else you want to use them for. So that is what I have for you today. I'm trying to think, there's the new releases. There's not any promotions on right now. We had the two-tone cardstock sale, but that is over. But yeah, check out the new online exclusives. They are lots of fun. You're going to want this embossing folder. I did forget to check. I'm pretty sure it's in stock still, but I'm sure it's a hot one. All right, I'm going to get you turned around here. I can't do it without sticking my hand in the camera. I'm not talented enough. Okay, let's see if we can get that. Oops. Without making you too seasick. Oh no, that's been okay. Should we zoom in a bit, or is that okay? Oh, that's too much. Okay, I think that's good. We'll stop making you seasick. Alrighty. Oh, I did forget. If you're watching, let me know that you're watching. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. I do check for comments. If you like the video, please like, share, help me grow this channel and community. And yeah, if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining. I appreciate everyone who watches. All right, so this is the embossing folder. It is one of the large ones that they started coming out with this year. So it is 6 by 8.5. So it is quite large. So if you're a scrapbooker or you want to make larger cards or whatever. The other great thing is if you use a full sheet, which I don't happen to be doing today, I should have. you can then just cut it into half and have two panels ready to go. It is, depending where you place your paper, you can get very different looks. So that's fun as well. It doesn't all have to be exactly the same. You can see a bit of pink here. It's not, I had put tape and the color of the tape stained my embossing folder of all things. It's very strange. It must have been, I can't even remember. I was just using water. Anyways, all right, so the first way to use this is the obvious way, where you would just take a piece of cardstock. So here I'm just going to take a piece of white cardstock. You can spritz this with water, especially with the deeper. I have not found that it has torn the paper at all, but if you are worried about it tearing, you can use the spritz, or what I like to use is a baby wipe, because it just has that little bit of moisture, and not that it matters which side, but I like to say I'm doing the back side, and you can see it's curling a little bit. So, but with the embossing folder, that curl will come out. I'm gonna look, I kind of want to get these 3 sunflowers. So I'm gonna kind of go in the corner here. I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna grab my big boss here. Now I'm gonna have to zoom out because I'm probably way too close. Oops, that's in. Oh, it won't zoom out anymore. Okay, well, it's as good as it gets. Then I'm gonna stick it in here since it's at the bottom. I always make sure that the fold of the embossing folder is running through the same way that you're running it, because otherwise it can kind of buckle and start to break. So you want to make sure that you've got that going the right way. Okay. So then I've got my beautifully embossed. So this would be number 8, just using it as is. You could do this on any color cardstock and have a beautiful background without adding anything else. But if you want to add to it, we will start adding to it. So I'm just gonna, let's see, which one was I gonna start with? I think, we will start. So this is a yellow piece that I embossed. Now, if you know what your card is going to look like and you want this to not just be a rectangle, you're not just cutting it down. So on my card that I did do, I used the deckled rectangles. So it's easier if you cut out your shape first and then run it through the embossing folder, and then you've already got your shape. Now, if you haven't planned ahead, like me, I did this my first time doing it. I left it as is, and then I decided I wanted the deckled rectangle. You can run it through. It'll flatten it a little bit, but you'll see with the ink technique that I'm doing, you can still see all the texture. And if you want that extra deep texture that it gives, you can totally put it back in. It's quite easy to find where it goes, because it kind of locks in like a puzzle piece, so it just kind of pops in there. And then so once you've already cut it with whatever shape you want, just run it through again and you'll get all that detail again. So for the first one, I took, don't ask me why I used Lemon Lolly. I think I was, with the yellow sunflower and the fact that I was adding blue, I don't know. It actually looks quite cool. I saw a card, and it might have very well been white and blue, which would look fabulous as well. But I went with the yellow. So this is Azure Afternoon, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come and I'm gonna rub it across And you can see how the sunflowers and the leaves, and it's okay. I'm actually on purpose wanting to go a bit deeper and hitting the yellow, because you'll see if I just do the flowers and there's a lot of yellow left, it pops, but the yellow to me is kind of distracting. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of get some blue onto the deeper part. So that just means either angling your pad or pushing a little bit harder than you normally would if you didn't want to get it in there. And then until you're happy with the color. Now this dries back a little bit and lightens. And once it was lighter and I was trying to mount it and decide what to put it with, I was struggling a little bit. So I grabbed blueberry bushel, which is a little bit darker. And I went over this more gentle than I was with the Azure Afternoon, because I just want it to kind of highlight things, not to take over, whoops, everything. Isn't that pretty? That just, you just went from, hang on, let me get this blue off my fingers. This is where I should have warned you. This is one of those messy lives where my hands are going to be all sorts of colors, and you better prepare to get a little messy. Some people prefer to wear gloves. I just deal with my messy hands. But isn't that like, so when you see kind of the embossed plain and then you see with color, like, wow, just stunning. So I made a card out of this. So that's inking the embossed side. Now you can also take the other side, which is called the debossed. So where the sunflowers are going inwards instead of upwards. And you can do the same thing again with any ink that you may have. So here I took Blackberry Bliss and I'm going to come across. And again, I don't mind if it gets in, if you're very careful, or if you use a brayer, you could put it just on that top layer. But I don't mind having a bit of extra color. But I do want these flat parts nice and dark. Isn't that pretty? So that's a different look. Hang on, let me get that so I don't stick my hands in it. Okay, oops, look at me. I don't know if there's a way to do this without getting messy. No matter how hard I try, I seem to always get it all over the place. So again, you've got the raised, embossed, and then you've got the debossed. So two different looks where your lightness or your white. So this would be more yellowy if you're using yellow. And then the background is darker, whereas this one, the flowers are darker and the background is lighter. So two easy ways to make things pop and get some really cool looks just with some added color. Now you wouldn't want to use, say, a blender brush with things like this because it'll just go in all the crevices. You will get some darker and lighter because it'll hit the raised edges more. But I think inking with either the stamp pad or with a brayer, like, so if you only have, say, the small stamping spots, you could ink it and run your brayer through and ink it on, or whatever you have for ink. Okay, that's the second one. Now for the third one, You can use, oops, where did it go? I have pulled out a cardstock from the April paper pumpkin, which is beautiful because it has the nice gold, kind of that alcohol blown look. You could do this yourself. You could just make a background with color, or you could use our two-tone cardstock for this technique. So all I did again was, let's see, let's do a different one here. I'm gonna run it through. Again, I'm just gonna run it through on the side so you don't get, I'll have to make you all dizzy. Hopefully I'm not shaking it up. Okay, so ran it through the same way. So it's hard to see the detail. I probably should have used my baby wipe because it just makes that impression that little bit deeper. You could run it through again with the baby wipe, but I'm just gonna show you what you can do with it. So I just took craft sanding. This is the old Stampin' Up one that I had in my stash, but I believe you can find them on Amazon or probably at Michael's. It's just a very light, it's meant for paper crafts. It's not, it's very fine. So then you can just come in and gently rub it in the colored areas. Obviously where it's white, nothing's gonna happen. But where there's color, so like this leaf, these petals, sorry if it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. So you're just kind of accentuating so the sunflowers pop a little bit more. And then you have a whole lot of paper dust hanging on there. Oops. And then you can use that as a background instead. So you're just kind of adding to the already beautiful background. So you still have the gold flecks, you still have the alcohol coloring, and then you've got the sunflowers added to that. So that is number 3. Let's put that over there. Number 4, you can use darker cardstock, which, oh, I do have it. I was like, oh, I forgot. I've already pre-embossed it. So I took Secret C and I pre-embossed the sunflowers. Then you can take your Whisper White ink, which is a mess. It is a messy ink, and you want to make sure it's nicely juiced up because the more you have, the better it is. So this one you're going, instead of light to dark, we're going dark to light, which just gives you a beautiful, again, it just really makes those flowers pop. And you could do it on either side, just like we did with the colored one. Here I'm doing the flowers, and you will see why in a minute here. Okay, so you can let it, as it dries, it gets lighter. So you probably want to put more ink than you think you want because it will lighten. Or you can do one layer, let it dry, and see, and then go again if it's too light. So I'm just gonna leave that to dry, but I did one yesterday and let it dry. You want to make sure it's dry before you do anything else to it. So it is beautiful like this as is, and you could totally make a card out of that, which I have done. But you can take it one step further if you want. Hello, Sherry. Hi, Linda. Sorry, I was watching for comments and then I got, I got going. Okay, so this is the dry one. It's still like pigment ink. I don't know if it ever truly dries. It's drier. It's still a little bit tacky, I would say. Like if you rubbed it, you'd probably get a little dirt. I don't ever seal it. I've never had issues with that, but I'm also not on the receiving end of the card, so who knows how it comes out. But so once you've got it dry, you can now add color to it. There's a couple ways you can add color. I used blending brushes, which is not very intricate. So if you, I don't think I need this one. If you want things more perfect, not perfect, within the lines, so let's say, you can use watercolor crayons and just color on top of the white and it will show up, which I'll grab one to show. You could use blender pens and inks. So, oh, I don't have one out, hang on. These ones. So if you had, say we're putting some Daffodil Delight on flower. Oops. You can use the blender brush or you could use the pen if you want to be more it's more refined, more, I can't think of the word I'm trying to come up with, more detailed. Whereas, so the brush way is, so say you're doing a bunch of cards and you're not wanting to spend 20 hours coloring things in. This is definitely not perfect, but because of the darkness, it doesn't really, I feel like it doesn't end up showing that much that you're out of the lines. Like obviously I'm coloring out of the lines here. I am using the smaller brush. I don't think, I mean, if you're talented with your larger brushes, go for it. I am not that talented. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you can see how fast that is compared to either coloring or using one of the pens or something. I tried with Granny Apple Green. Now when I tried, to me, the green just disappeared. I don't know why. I obviously used my gray with the green. I don't know. I'll have to clean it. Anyways, I'm not sure what I was doing there. Maybe that's why it didn't come out green. So I found it looked quite yellow, similar to the flower. Here it's not as bad. Maybe I just didn't have as much white. I don't know. I ended up using Mossy Meadow, but I found it blurred kind of into one another quite a bit, which you will see when I show you my finished cards next week. It's my sneak peek this week, just how to do this part, and then the cards will come next week. Okay, there's not many leaves on this one. So I don't know if you can see that. So you've got the yellow and the green. And then we make a mess. Mess after mess after mess. Okay, so then for the middle, I tried, what's it called? Wild Wheat, but it was, again, coming across a little too yellow. So I pulled out my pecan pie. And so if you want to do wild wheat underneath, and then I think it gives it a bit more pop, and And you can see I've got some brown here. So if you get too much and you're not happy with that look, you can always come back and go over the yellow and see. And that'll dry down, obviously, since the rest of it did too. So, you know, you can kind of go layer and layer, work on it as much or as little as you want. So it could be a quick project or it could be a labor of love, just depending what your timing and your patience and your look you're going for. So that's a whole other look when you're coloring it. So here's just the white on, so you can do this with any colored cardstock. Go wild. All you need is a white stamp pad and then a few colors. Or if you have, oh yeah, I said I was going to grab a watercolor pencil. If I can find them. I had them out. I took them with me on my trip to color. And I thought I put them back. Apparently I did not. Anyways, I do have videos where I did color something on the white with watercolor crayons. I don't then use the water to smooth it out. It's just you're using crayons. I don't know what would happen if you used water, but you probably could. Okay, I don't know what number that was. Then, let's see. Okay, next one is we're gonna take our white embossed piece of white, plain old. And this is where VersaMark becomes our friend. So once again, you could do it on the deboss side, but I think it would look very chunky. So this one, to me, you want to be very light-handed and you want to make sure, I almost forgot, which I always seem to forget when I'm doing videos. You want to add that anti-static powder and really get it in there, because you just want it sticking to where your VersaMark is, especially if you want kind of more of a delicate look. And then you're just going to kind of lightly drag your VersaMark. So you have no idea what this is going to look like. This is like blind stamping. This is the surprise. I don't know what I did until you put the embossing in. I'm just going to tap it so it gets the, I feel like it's not grabbing too much, but I don't want to go crazy. I could always add more if I'm not happy with it. So I come with my gold powder here. And we're going to find out. See, it's got some bling to it. It's got more than I would have thought. A lot more. It just didn't feel like it was grabbing at all, but I probably could have done a lot less than I actually did. So again, if you want to start slow and less is more, you can always go less and tap it off, so that's not bad. And then we'll just put that all back in there. And then before I go to emboss this, I'm gonna wipe all that powder off. And we need our heat tool and maybe a tool to hold the paper. So I'm gonna come here where there's no powder. And I'll heat up the tool. Are any of you doing the scrapbooking retreat that starts at 2 o'clock today? I am so not ready for it. I'm gonna try and pack it up and bring it with me to do at the lake, but I'm not sure how much stuff I'll need, so watch what they're doing today and see kind of if I need to bring my whole craft room with me. Sometimes when we've gone for longer, I've brought a carload full of stuff, but we want to go in one car this time, so. Let's see. All right, isn't that, well, you probably can't see the pretty yet. Sorry for the loud air. Okay, I think we've got it all. And then check this out. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if you can see it in the light. I think. There we go. It's so pretty. So if you really want it very delicate, you could go even less heavy with the VersaMark, just so you have a few, you know, just the edges with the gold. But I think that's beautiful. So you could do that with silver. You could do that with the copper. You could do it. This is gold. You could even do it with clear on colored or clear on white, and then you could use one of the inking as the embossed resist. So there's just, you can just keep going and going with embossing folders. It's crazy all that you can do. All right. Oh, I have a little red something crawling around. Weird. All right, the last one. Oh. Oopsie, that was the one I was supposed to do something else with. So I will run this through because we need another one. I'm not going to use that white. I need a clean white or my paper is going to be funky colored. Okay, let's see. Like that. And we'll run it through. Okay. Oh, I'm such a dumb numb. My brain is not working. Okay, this is not what I wanted to do with it. But we can use this. We can work with this. I am going to, oh, I wanted it here. Okay, so this is an instance where I'm going to stick it back here. This is where my tape had bled. I'm going to do it a different way this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this tape in behind. I don't know if this is going to work for, actually what I'll do is I'll feed it into here, make sure it's in the right spot, and then close and get it to stick down there. There we go. Okay. So then, I was jumping a step. All right, this is one, which I know I've done before, where you can ink up your embossing folder and transfer direct to the paper. So you can just tap it down, or you can use the brayer, which I think is it's the most foolproof way, because you're not going to push too hard and get ink down in here. It'll be an even, like this is a very hard brayer, and so it doesn't go where it's not supposed to go. And I taped it down because, not just because I made a mistake and did it before I was ready. But because you can see, it's not, you could spray with water, which helps it move more, but I'm gonna run this through more than once because I'm gonna ink it up more than once to get a more solid color through there. So here you're getting, by doing it this way, you're getting the look that you got with the debossed, where your ink is on the inside, but your flowers are still raised and white. So your debossed part is the colored part, but you still have the raised edges. So you can come in, you can do this as many times as you need till you're happy kind of with, and because I'm using a darker color, I feel like I have to go, I'm just gonna cheat. And press it a few times without rolling it through. Okay, let's roll it through again. Where we're at. That's pretty close. Maybe one more. One more. I did spray my sample with water. I sprayed my paper. I misted it with water, and it just helps that spread out. Now the other option is to mist this part, but then you're going to get color where you don't have color. And even with misting the paper, you're going to get color bleeding a little bit, not a lot. You'll see when you see my sample. You notice I'm not showing my samples today. Okay. That's good enough. And then obviously I would wash. It's super easy just to run your embossing folder with water. These are all washable, water soluble inks. So it just rinses off. And oh, Sherry, you're a card creator. Yeah, well that's, I'd love to see, maybe I'll have to check you out. Check out your stuff. Okay, so we've got the background done. Now you could, again, you could leave it like that and make a card. So again, you could use whatever color cardstock, whatever color background, and go with that. But I decided I was gonna color the flowers. So again, you've got options. You could watercolor, like actual, but I've used just basic white, so it's not the best to watercolor with. You could use your blender pens, or here I used the blends. Super easy, come in and just go to town. With the texture, I find it's quite easy to not stay within the lines per se, but just it just makes it easy to color and quick. Watercoloring would be quick and easy as well. I'm not that great at watercoloring. I would like to be better. I should practice more. But for the purpose of the video, I need my tips. I don't know. It must be when I put them in and out. My tips seem to all not last, and I purposely don't use them with the embossing powder like they say, because I thought that that's what was causing it, but because I don't think, maybe I use lemon lolly quite a bit, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like they should be fraying. Anyways, so you can see you can get a beautiful 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 look with just adding some color. And then for the inside, oops, I forgot to, where did I put them? I think that's where I used the wild wheat, just to keep it more in the gold kind of tones of life. Maybe using it on the textured surface is hard on them too. Maybe it would be better if I watercolored here. But it still works, it just makes it harder to do fine details with the brush when it's frayed. And I like how it has the dark and the light, so you can, it kind of makes it easy to do. Yeah, I know this folder is amazing. And your order, Linda, is, I just checked where it's sitting in Richmond. I don't know what's going on. It's not going to get here before we leave, and I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I'm not going to finish it because you guys will get bored with me coloring, but that's kind of the idea with the dark background and then the light. So instead of you could do the same thing with this deboss, and I don't know if you can tell the difference here. I don't want to hold it up too. Where's the camera? So this is the debossed and this is the embossed, and then so you could color this and use that as well, but there's just so many ways that you can just, and all I've done is backgrounds. I haven't even, you know, we have old sunflower bundles and sets where you could cut out a sunflower and add it. I've seen people just cut out a sunflower from the embossed part and then put it on top, so you can pop up the sunflower. Obviously add your sentiments, and just, this is easy because it's just such a beautiful background, but you can just go for days and play and colors and so it is a great one to have and use, because it's just one embossing folder. I can't remember what the price is on it. They're very reasonable, the embossing folders. And if you've got a couple of colors, even if you just had white and some colored cardstock, or like the VersaMark and embossing powders, you can really make some beautiful stuff. But you can do these techniques with any embossing folder. You don't have to have this one. So whatever embossing folders you do have, pull them out and try some of these techniques and play. It's so much fun. I don't know about you, but I love just playing. If the card gets made, great, but for me, playing and getting messy and the backgrounds, those are the fun. Anyways, so let's just go back to what we had. So we have the embossing powder, we have the white ink, we have the colored white ink, we have the sandpapered background, we have the colored cardstock with color on top. This one is just so vibrant. If you come up with a really, I kind of like the card I came up with, but I think this could be amazing. I just haven't come up with the amazing card part of it. Oh, and then we already have this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then plain if you want plain. So hopefully that gets you inspired to play and pull out some embossing folders and make some backgrounds. I'd love to see your creations. If you want to post them, tag me. I'd love to see them. All right, hopefully you have a great rest of your week. Like I said, I'm away next week, but I will post the finished cards of this, so I'm not sure if it'll be a video or if it'll just be a reel, but keep your eyes posted for that. And we will hopefully see you not next week, but the week after. All right, take care. Enjoy the summer while it's here. It's going by so fast. Bye.